Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for May the 10th, 2021. Today we're going to be going through quite a lot of elections because there were quite a few in the United Kingdom last week and only recently were announced on Sunday. We shall be going through the local English council elections, the local Hartlepool by-election, the devolved administration elections in Wales and Scotland, and we have the London mayoral election. Oh, this is going to be fun. So perhaps we'll start with the council one. And I'm going to give you a hint as to what the outcome was by using a TikTok video to best demonstrate the campaigning acumen and skill of one of the parties, which should in turn explain to you and give a hint as to who won.
Here's a song to get to know about me. I'll start with my name, my age, my height, my gender identity, and my favorite game. This is where I live now, and this is where I'm from. Here's what I do for work, and what I hope to become.
For the sake of it, I will give Labour some credit. At least they had the audacity to use alternative platforms, even if the outcome was incredible cringe. So the scoreboard for the England council elections reads as follows. Labour won 44 councils, down 7, and they have 1,268 councillors, down 301. The Conservatives won 58 councils, which is up 12, and won 2,205 councillor seats, which is up 239. There are other parties. Reform UK won 2 councillors. The Green Party are up 70 councillors but still don't hold a council itself. All in all, it was a rip-roaring success for the Conservative and Green parties. Not so much for Labour. So I guess we should now go to the Hartlepool by-election. On the political recap stream on Friday, which is also on Spotify, both linked down below, I did mention that Labour had held the seat of Hartlepool in 2017 and 2019. The then incumbent only stepped down because he was being charged with some rather not ad-friendly things, and he wanted to go fight that, which he was right to do. So under Corbyn, they retained twice, although it is worth pointing out they only won in 2019 because the Brexit Party existed and they got enough votes with the Conservatives to actually beat Labour. And those same voters then just went back to the Conservatives once Brexit was done, which should be an indicator for how this turned out. With a turnout of 44% of the voters eligible in Hartlepool, the Conservatives won, and Boris celebrated by doing the following.
This is big. A colossal win in Hartlepool for the Conservatives and Boris Johnson. Another blue brick in what used to be Labour's red wall. And the Tories are building right across the country.
He really is a showman. With the Conservatives doing so well so far, perhaps we should take this in a different direction and go to London. Sadiq Khan won his seat with a phenomenal majority over Zach Goldsmith in 2016. Because of COVID, the election was pushed back a year. His main competitor was Sean Bailey of the Conservatives. All I saw on Twitter, by the way, was the following. Sean Bailey says he grew up poor and he's black, yet he still votes Conservative. I'm doubting his poor background. Oh, he votes Conservative because he's black. He must be one of those Uncle Tom types. It's remarkable how racist some people can be without even using the actual words. At the end of the first preference voting, Sean Bailey was doing really well. He was very close. At one point he had more votes than Sadiq. Second preference, though, changed this, and Sadiq did eventually win. However, his majority has been utterly slashed. And that's not a joke. He has said he wants to now heal the divides in London, which sounds very Biden. And as we've seen with his version of healing, it is the equivalent to saying, fingers in ears, everyone, la la la, I can't hear you. Now let me go do more stupid things because I can't be held accountable when I leave office, which for Sadiq will be in 3 years' time. Mayors sit for 4 years, but he had an extra year in office. Rather amusingly, Lawrence Fox didn't get enough votes to get his deposit back, but he was beaten in votes by a YouTuber called Nico, which isn't a joke. Big tall guy wearing kids' sunglasses. Got to love that. Next we head to Wales. For the sake of it, Labour have held Wales for ages. And in truth, there isn't much that can be said beyond that. Simply put, Labour dominate. They've often held over half the seats there. This time, they hold just half, but technically just under. The deputy chair and the head chair do not count as votes, but they are actual seats contested. They're meant to remain neutral. They did gain a seat. Conservatives also made gains, though, by taking seats off the Liberal Democrats and Plaid Cymru. But the majority is such, it will always be that way. Mark Drakeford can continue to be an absolute tosser, and he'll continue to get banned from all the Welsh pubs. The final election was Scotland. This one was a big deal, because if the SNP gained enough of a majority, they then say, or have said, they would then have everything they need to say they have a mandate for an independence referendum. Their majority was slashed. They didn't do as well as they had hoped. They didn't make gains as much as they wanted. The vast majority of Scotland that has always been SNP stayed SNP, but they didn't make as many inroads. They did take one seat off the Conservatives, but the Conservatives in turn took seats off others. Scotland does, though, have a Green Party and an SNP that both want independence. Combined, they do in fact have a majority, which is now the new argument being presented. For the sake of it, Boris has said no, because COVID's more important than that. He has also called for a devolved administration summit to discuss the election results and what steps will be taken next. He firmly believes in working together. And before I forget, Labour. They lost, quite badly, in all respects except for London, although the majority was slashed significantly. Keir Starmer has taken responsibility for this. He's also fired Angela Rayner from campaign management. So while taking, air quotes here, responsibility, and air quotes, he is also lumping the blame onto someone else that he can't get rid of as his deputy, which is Angela Rayner, because she's selected by the party members. But he's also going to do a cabinet reshuffle because they're flagging. They're not making gains and they're spending a lot of money and failing, which is really, really fucking funny. Many believe now that Boris could well serve in office as Prime Minister for longer than Margaret Thatcher, which is assured if Keir Starmer does not make the necessary changes now to his party to earn back the heartlands that they lost in 2019 and additionally now in 2021, where councils are going Conservative because they appear to now still represent the workers more than Labour, who were meant to be about the workers in the first place.